Give me just a moment. So give me just a moment. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Make sure we're streaming. The stream looks okay. All right. Go ahead. Well, here, let me kind of do let me do the introductions first. Just hold tight for a second. So welcome. Yeah, it's okay. Welcome back, guys. So yeah, I got started just a little bit late, transitioning from the previous class to you guys. I realized that I hadn't assigned the homework for this week, and so I was assigning the homework, and I just kind of got a little, took up a little bit more time than I thought. And so let me kind of do a recap of where we left off up to where we are now. So this is the top of week 2. I did have to do starfish reports, just basically like if I didn't see you last week, I kind of said, hey, I didn't see the student. I think one day though, I took attendance, but I think it just didn't save it. So I know there was a day, like I know I had some people there and they may or may not have gotten credit. As long as you're here now, like going forward, it shouldn't be an issue. But I know there was a day where I know I took attendance because I take attendance as I let students in. That's just what I do. But I think that it just didn't save it. And I know it does that sometimes. So last week I know we did about 4 sections. I think we did like R4 and R5, and then 1-1 and 1-2. So the goal for today, we want to do the best we can to get through sections 1-3 and 1-4. So the style that I'm doing for our course, this is a calculus for business. This is going to be asynchronous. So what that means is that like today, you guys did great. We got in. The first 15 minutes of class is generally when I take attendance. So if class starts at 6, between 6 and 6:15, you can get full attendance credit. Actually, sorry. I usually take attendance leading up until 6. So when I take that first set of attendance leading up until 6, that's full credit. But then if you arrive usually between 6 and 6:15, I usually mark students as late. After 6:15, I'll let you in the class, but I usually don't offer attendance credit for that. We'll see how that goes. I prefer to do it that way just to make sure you get in early and get your credit. Um, and so with this course being asynchronous, what I'm doing is like, okay, you don't have to like sit in on the class because I know that it's kind of difficult timing and a lot is oftentimes technological issues. So with it being asynchronous, you just log in, get your attendance credit. You don't have to stay, right, on any given day. Just get your attendance credit, and these sessions are being recorded. They're streamed. I usually do my lectures in advance, so I try to like do a week's worth of lectures at a time. So I did it for this week, and they are on my YouTube channel. So if this is your first time joining, hopefully you were able to get in through this through our Blackboard account, and there you can find a link to my YouTube. My YouTube is Beautiful Mind Pfeiffer. Let me see if what else. And so our online homework is going to be everything is going to be through Blackboard. What I did is I linked Pearson. I linked Pearson to our Blackboard, so you don't need a course ID or anything like that. You just go into Blackboard and click on assignments, and you'll see it there. But to gain full access, you do have to purchase full access. It runs about 120 bucks, give or take $10, to gain full access to Pearson. But it's all linked through Blackboard. I think but yeah, so it's all done through Blackboard. What I did is I linked Pearson. So my recommendation would just be go through Blackboard and purchase it through there, so you make sure you're getting the right thing. It comes with the e-text. If you want to buy a hard copy textbook, you can do that too. It should give you an access code. That will work too, because I know sometimes students work better through in the book. But all of our homework, quizzes, and exams are going to be on Pearson through Blackboard, right? So what I do again, the way I kind of run my courses, or what I'm working for this remote learning, I record my lectures in advance. So today I want to do as best we can to get through 1-3 and 1-4. But those lectures are already on my YouTube channel. I made them like last Friday or Saturday, something like that. So they're there. I expect you to watch those videos. Let me switch up my headphones because the battery's getting low. Give me just a moment. Oh, hopefully it don't cause no trouble. I know it likes to cause trouble when I do that. Give me just a moment. Let me see. lectures in advance. I try to make them available. I expect you to watch those lectures. I try to limit it to about 35 minutes per section. When we have 2 sections in a day, I try to limit those video presentations to about 35 minutes per section. Watch those videos. Even if you want it, you can listen to it like double speed or times and a half, so it'll speed up the time. But you should be able to hear everything if you're comfortable doing that. But take notes as if you're in class. Anything that's not clear, you write down your questions. Either email me or ask me now during class time. So I'm going to take class time to actually either answer specific questions, and like if there aren't any specific questions, I'm going to make my way through as much of the homework as I can. Um, but yeah, that's the structure. So my lectures are pre-recorded; they're available. You just check in each day to get attendance credit, and we'll use class time to answer specific questions. Or slash go through as much homework as we can. Let me let the student in, and then I know there was a question. I think I'm ready to answer that question now. Maybe the question got answered. That's why I was like, let me kind of do the spiel first before you ask, because I felt like I'm pretty good about answering those questions. Usually I have a decent idea of what you're going to say. Um, Go ahead. Hmm. It is recorded, yeah. And anything that you see me writing on the screen, I'm gonna make a PDF available through Blackboard. Our hub, our central access point is gonna be Blackboard. That's gonna have everything there. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So the way I do attendance, yeah, yeah, it's okay. The way I do attendance, once you get into my Zoom, because I take attendance as I let students into the Zoom. So once you get into my Zoom, you got your attendance credit for the day. All right. So once you see your name in the list, you're good to go. Yeah. Are there anybody have any other questions about anything like homework? How was everybody's weekend? Did we have a good weekend? Did your favorite team, your favorite person win the Super Bowl? It's like, man. What you gonna do? You can't get mad at them. It's like what you gonna do? I don't even know. I've given up on the whole cheating thing. Go ahead. Yeah, right. What are you gonna do? Like what? How is it? How is he doing this? Like, do you think he's cheating or no? Or okay, he might be. He might be because for the longest I just thought he was because I don't watch sports at all, but I know about Tom Brady. Like I don't watch sports at all, but like Tom Brady is like, man, I'm sick of this. But it's okay. I mean, you know, huh? Yeah, 7. Yeah, yeah. It's wild. It's wild. I mean, no, it's totally wild. It's totally wild. So I mean, but yeah, more power to him. I mean, it's it rubs people however it rubs them. But I mean, I probably would do the same thing if I could. So I'm not so mad at him. It is what it is. You know, it's crazy. So okay, but yeah, so the lectures for sections 1, 3, and 1, 4 they are on my YouTube. Let me update this. Let me type. Come on. They are on my YouTube. Oh no. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna just take some time. First, let me open the floor. Does anybody have any questions about the homework? If there aren't any specific questions from the homework, I'm just gonna work through as many questions as I can. Starting with section 1.3. I think we got as far as we could last time with 1.1 and 1.2. So I'm just gonna pick up today. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let me go back to Pearson. That's another reason why I was a little bit late today. I had to I forgot to load the homework, so I was loading the homework. I loaded the homework and the quiz for this week. Our rhythm, we do like a few sections. Every section we do, there's a homework assignment associated with each section. Let me do it this way. Give me just a moment. Let's go back. I want to see the student view because I like to keep track of what I'm doing. That actually helps. Okay. This is fine. Week 2. Okay. Um, I totally lost my train of thought trying to do too much at the same time. Um, Let me open this, make this available. Okay, that looks good. But yeah, that's why I was late. I was kind of I had to remember. Oh yeah, so our rhythm. I don't need this anymore. How do I want to switch this out. Properties. Not that one. It needs to be. Oh, you know what? Okay, I gotta go back like this. This. Now let's try it. Sorry. I meant to do this before. One more. Properties. There it is. This one. Okay. You stay open. That looks good. I'm going to hit OK. And let's go back here and full screen. Okay. So our rhythm going from here to the end, we have like a couple of sections that we do within a week, anywhere from 2 to 4 sections per week. Every section that we go over, there's going to be homework associated with that, homework assignment associated with that section. You can anticipate a quiz every week. All of this is through Blackboard. It's all in the same location. You can anticipate a quiz every week and then an exam every month, right? So exam 1, whatever we talked about for that month, that exam is going to be at the end of the month, right? So we should be able to get through chapter 1, like section R, and most of chapter 1, right? So that, and you'll see it. It'll pop up with all of our assignments. We get unlimited attempts. On any given week, the assignments are due every week on Sunday night at midnight. Sunday going into Monday, but you can actually work on the assignments past the due date. When you submit assignments late, there's a 10% late penalty. So what that means is you can submit all the assignments at the very last second. If you really want an A, it just has to be a perfect score. It has to be a perfect score, and you can still get an A even if you submit everything late, right? Also, it's probably a good idea to connect with the tutors. That's going to be a valuable source. Email me. You can like as you're working through the homework. If you get stuck and you want my help, you want to make use of this Ask My Instructor, and it'll send me a screenshot of the question you're working on. That's the best way to ask me. Between the tutors, your classmates, and me, and then Pearson and the internet, one of those sources should have say it some way where it sinks in, right? I use Pearson because, like this viewing example, it'll walk you through a lot of the questions. Okay. Let me check the chat one more time. If you have questions, feel free to either unmute yourself or type it in the chat. The chat looks clear. So I'm going to just kind of start working section 1.3, average rates of change. And go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Don't worry about it. As long as you're here today, and so I'm not gonna make the attendance like part of your grade. I'm just using it for record keeping. There was a day I did like I know I took attendance, but it seems like it didn't save it, so it kind of created a little bit of confusion. But as long as you're here today, you're fine. Like if you're here, just make sure that you stay on the roster. If you get kicked, just let me know, and we'll make sure that everything is still clicking, that you're in there. So as long as you're here, it's totally okay. Let me see, what's this notification? Let me check the chat. Okay. There is a group me. You have to, ask your classmates. So that is encouraged too. I know somebody organized it last time, so I'm gonna let y'all work that one out. Okay. And again, just stop me if you have questions or if anything is not clear. So this section on average rates of change, I did do a video lecture for this already. My recommendation, watch that ahead of time. Take notes if you're in class and direct your questions towards me. So here we're going to try to do our best to work through as many questions as we can. We have this function g, find g of p plus 3, right? And simplify your answer. Let's see, did a student get attendance credit already? It would help if I need last names. First and last names would be a lot easier for me. Okay. So let me take some notes here. I think I'm gonna need to write some stuff down. So let me do paper. I usually like to do graph paper. Okay. So this comes from section 1.3 average rates of change. So 1.3 average rates of change. I see the notifications. I think these are you guys just talking amongst yourselves. I'm curious, do we have a female in the group? Because one of the names looks like a female, but I don't know. Usually it has a Spelman.edu or Clark or something like that, but I don't think so. Unless Morehouse changed their like admittance, like that's so interesting. Anyway, uh, average rates of change. Let's see. This is question number 1 from the homework from that section. This comes from, I think it's the review, AR7, question number 30. So this is like a augmented review or something like that. So it says let g of x equal 3x squared plus 2x plus 4, and we're asked to find, come on, I need you to behave a little bit better. I'm gonna check the chat in just a moment. Find g of p plus 3. All right, let's do this. Ooh, I don't remember what that shortcut was. Let me see. Let me try this. Give me just a moment. Start the video. Let's uncheck that. Chat, remove, suspend, lock. Give me a moment. I'm trying to remember my shortcuts. I hadn't used this in a while. Shortcuts. Mute. Command option. All right, let's try that. Yeah, it's okay. I just got to be better with my shortcuts. There's no worries. There we go. I found it. Okay. Okay, cool. We're good to go. Because I'm supposed to be quick with that anyway. Because, like, you know, we got Zoom bomb. I thought it was cute the first time. I was like, okay, let me lock this stuff down so we can minimize that stuff. Okay, so let's hop over to the tablet and let's walk through this one. All right. So these are the notes that we took. We have this function. So all we're doing is basically a substitution and then simplifying. So we're replacing all the x's. I'm going to highlight this color, right? So we're going to replace all the x's with that blue thing. Come on, there it is. Okay, so if we're going to do g of p plus 3, let's turn that down. G of p plus 3, so I'm going to replace each x with a blank set of parentheses. 3 times x squared plus 2 times x plus 4, right? The x in this case is p plus 3, p plus 3. Then we're just going to expand everything out and simplify it down. So that's going to become 3 times, that's going to be a p squared plus, I think it's going to be 6p plus 9. So FOIL, I think that's okay. And then here I'm going to distribute. We got, did they get attendance credit? Okay. That's fine. I'm not going to, I think I don't want to make a big deal about that. Let's keep going. So that's going to be, I'm just going to, not equals. I'm just going to kind of let it be black from here on out. 2p plus 6 plus 4, and then one more step. We get, we want to distribute here. We get 3p squared plus 6 times 3 is what? 18p. 9 times 3 is 27 plus 2p plus 10, right? So then if we combine like terms, 3p squared, 20p, and 37. Okay, let's see how do we do. We're just going to hop back over to Pearson and see how do we do. Okay. So let's see, Pearson is here. Simplify your answer. All right, so we got 3p squared, 20p, and 37. All right, see the time. So I think we go, okay, we got a little under an hour. I think we're pretty good. I'm going to the next question. Let me check the chat really quickly. So I know there was some activity there. There's a link, group me, there's the link, no worries. Okay, cool. All right. G of 0 for this function. Do I need to write this? Okay, at least for 0, I know I don't need to write it, right? If we let x be 0, on bottom we're going to have 1 ultimately. On top we're going to have 0. 0 over 1 is going to be 0. So that one. And if anything is not clear, you have to stop me and we'll go back. If nobody says anything, I just kind of keep going forward. G of -1. Okay. I think I kind of primed somebody. Let me see the chat. No, go back. Go back. Oh, okay. Let's go like this, like this. Okay, okay. So when x is -1, it looks like the bottom here is going to be a 0. So -1 over 0 is undefined. Does not exist versus is not a real number. I'm going to say does not exist. Because we're dividing by 0, right? Not a real number, I think, would be like I or imaginary number. And that's not going to give us an imaginary. So I'm going to go with does not exist. Okay. 6. So when x is 6, that's what? -35. So we're taking the square root of a negative. So that's going to be not a real number. That's going to be an imaginary result. Check the answer. On to the next one. Okay, 2/3. I definitely don't feel like doing that. Let's see. That's going to be 4 by 9. So 9 by 9 minus 4 by 9 is going to be what? 5 by 9. So that's going to be √5. That's going to be √5 over 3. 2/3 divided by √5 over 3. 2/3. So then 2 by √5. So then 2 √5 over 5. I just totally did it in my head. Let's see if that works. If I need to write it out, let me know. I think I got 2 √5 by 5. Radicals. Let me see if this works. 2. I got another answer if it doesn't work. Let's do like this. 2 times the square root. Come on, square root. 2 √5 by 5. Because I rationalized it. Okay, let's see how do we do. Awesome sauce. Because I just didn't, I was totally being lazy there and not writing it out. I don't recommend not writing it out. In other words, you should definitely write that out. I just didn't feel like doing it. If I need to write it out, let me know and I will. But, you know. Okay. And suppose like we didn't know what to do there. Right here, the question help. View an example or ask my instructor. To me, those are the ones I would recommend for something like this. Let's go into the next question. Let me see my time. Okay. Find a simplified form of the difference quotient and complete the table. Okay, so this is a difference quotient. Okay, so let's take some notes here. We're gonna have to write this one out. So this is question number 3. This comes from section 1.3, question 21. Part A says find the difference quotient. Find the difference quotient. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of backstory on that and then complete the table. Part B says to complete the table. Okay, we're given this f of x equals, we got 5x squared, and then the table, we have x, h, we got the difference quotient, x plus h minus f of x all over h. We got 2, 1, 0.1, 0.001, and then x is 3 for all of those. Okay. Okay, I think I have everything that I need. Go ahead. So they're available the same time as the homework. It's just that all of these are due on Sundays at midnight. Yeah. So yeah, so they're due. Yeah, I usually make them when I assign the homework. And then the exam one is going to be at the end of the month. At the end, you can anticipate an exam at the end of every month. At the end of every month. Okay, so these are the notes I just took. Yeah, find the difference quotient, right? So if you have a formula sheet, it's probably a good idea to add this. The difference quotient is actually in the upper right hand corner. It's going to be f of x plus h minus f of x over h. All right, let me think about that. Yeah. Okay. So we have our f of x. All right. So f of x is 5x squared, right? Let's go ahead and do f of x plus h off to the side by itself. F of x plus h. This is similar to the very first question we did today, but instead of p plus 3, we got x plus h, right? So that's going to be equal to 5. Now the x in this case is going to be x plus h, so let's expand that out. We're going to have 5 times, that's going to be x squared plus 2xh plus h squared, right? So then ultimately, that's going to be 5x squared plus 10xh plus 5h squared, okay? So that's f of x plus h. Now we're going to incorporate that into the difference quotient. So the difference quotient, again, just to kind of repeat, is f of x plus h minus f of x all over h, okay? So then that's going to be equal to what we just found, the 5x squared plus 10xh plus 5h squared minus our f of x, which is 5x squared, and we're going to divide all of that by h, okay? So now, something should cancel. This cancels this. Notice the remaining terms in the numerator all have h, so I'm going to factor out a h from all of those terms, right? So then if we do that, what we're left with is 10x plus 5h over h, right? So now these h's can cancel. So the difference quotient is going to be 10x plus 5h, okay? So then it asks us to complete the table. Let me just get a copy of this. Copy. Okay, we're okay. Paste. All right. Let's see. Oh, so now x is 3 and h is 2. Okay. So that's going to be what? 30 plus 10 is 40, right? I'll probably use my calculator in a minute. 30 plus 5 is 35. 0.1, what is that? 10.5? Is that right? So 0.5, so then 30.5? So then it should be 30.05. Okay, I feel okay with that. So notice as the h gets closer and closer to 0, the difference quotient gets closer and closer to 30 in this case, right? Hopefully, because we're going to use that idea a little bit down the road, like in the near future. Okay, let's hop over to Pearson and see how do we do with these results. So this was the first result that we got. Okay, style, like this. And then this was the second. I guess I might as well put that in a box too. If anybody is in the Atlanta area, the second Sunday of every month is free admission at the High Museum. But what you have to do, you do have to like go to their website and reserve a ticket. So if you're in the Atlanta area, I think it's going to be on Valentine's Day this year. It's free admission at the High. It's just a nice free event. You can, if you have a friend or buddy you want to take, it's just a nice free thing to do. Go see some artwork. Okay. So let's see, how do we do? 10x plus 5h. Let's cross our fingers. 10x plus 5h. Cross our fingers. Looks good. Okay. Fill in the table. So the first one we got 40. So we got 40. Then we got what? 35. Then we got 30.5. And then we got 30.05. Cross our fingers. Looks good. I don't think there are any questions in the chat because usually I get a notification. So I'm going to go on to the next question. Let me see the time. We're looking pretty good on time. This is kind of a repeat, so I am going to go ahead and do it. Actually, I guess we can. And again, if you have specific questions that you want me to go over, just stop me and we can kind of jump around. We don't have to go in order. I'm just doing this because there aren't questions. Let's go to, so I'm going to take some notes here. This is number 4. This comes from section 1323. Is the sun up where you guys are right now? Like, I'm just curious because like it literally just got dark. It's dark here now. So like you might still have sun, but it's definitely dark here. I just think that's fascinating. It's nothing special or different. Difference quotient. Difference quotient. Blah blah blah. I know that's not spelled right, but I'm just doing some shorthand. And then complete the table. Complete the table. Okay. We have f of x equals, we got this negative 3x squared, and the table, let me see, we got x is there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. H is 2, 1, 0.1, and then 0.01, okay? And then we got the difference quotient, f of x plus h minus f of x all over h, okay? All right, let's rock and roll. Yeah, I was still taking notes. I'm about to hop over right now. Thank you for the update, though. 'Cause I do need that feedback. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I was still taking notes. Okay. All right. So these are the notes I just took. Basically, it's saying find the difference quotient and complete the table. It's kind of a repeat of what we just did. So let's just do it again, right? So difference quotient, f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. Okay, so let's go ahead and isolate this f of x plus h. Let me write a little bit better. F of x plus h. All right, let's isolate that. Okay, that's going to be a negative 3 times x plus h squared. Okay, so if we expand that, that's going to be a negative 3 x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Right. So then ultimately we get negative 3x squared minus 6xh minus 3h squared, okay? All right, so that's f of x plus h expanded. So now let's incorporate it into the difference quotient. So that's going to be this f of x plus h minus f of x over h. That's going to be equal to what we just found. Okay, f of x is negative 3x squared. Let me write it like this, negative 3x squared, okay? I think this is okay. All over h. Notice that double negative become positive there. And then that in turn causes these two guys to cancel. Okay. Notice the remaining terms still have h, so we can factor out that h. Now some of these do get a little bit funky, so you kind of got to like batten down the hatches or whatever. You got to like buckle yourself in, pace yourself, take a deep breath, give it all you got. When you just can't take any more, put it away. Go play games, go do something relaxing, eat some food, take a nap, get outside, run, jump, play, do something else fun that you enjoy to do. Then once you kind of feel okay, pick it back up. That's my recommendation. Otherwise, it's very easy to like get lost in this stuff, and your mind is gonna be like, oh my god, right? But do the best you can. Step back, take a break, team up, ask for support. You keep in mind you've already paid for tutors as well. Now this one isn't that bad, but it's bringing back some memories, and some other ones it's like, oh my god, some of these do get a little bit funky. So, we're gonna see. Okay, let's keep going. So if we factor out a h, let me see. Let's factor out an h from every term in the top. So then what we're going to be left with is a negative 6x minus 3h squared over h, and these guys cancel. Okay. So then this leaves us with negative, get rid of this squared. That squared is not supposed to be there. So then that leaves us with a negative 6x minus 3h. Okay, that looks good. And then complete the table. So I'm just going to copy and paste the table. Let's do it this way. Copy, paste, and I can shrink it down. So, okay. So we got this result for the simplified difference quotient. Man, I really feel like I'm in the future. Like, it's eerie. Like, I feel like I'm in Back to the Future for real. Back to the Future Part 2. Well, actually, I guess we're going from 2 to 3 because Back to the Future 2 was while Trump was in office, but we're past that now. So I was like, are we going back to the basics, like Back to the Future 3, like the Wild West? Anyway, but for the longest while Trump was in office, I was going through it, man. I was like, man, I feel like I'm in Back to the Future Part 2. But I guess now we're past it. So anyway, let's see. Okay, there's our f of x plus h. Okay, our difference quotient. So when x is 4, that's what? Negative 24 minus 6 is negative 30. All right. Negative 24 minus 3 is negative 27. Negative 24, what is that? Minus 0.3, 24. 0.3, so negative 24.3. I think I'm doing that right, yeah. No, wait, I didn't do something right. That's supposed to be 25. Wait, let me back up. I think I said the right thing, but wrote the wrong thing here. Let's back up there. When x is 1, negative 24 minus 3 is negative 27. Okay. 24 minus 0.3 is negative 24.3. And then the next one should be negative 24.03, right? I think that's how that goes. Notice that as h gets closer and closer to 0, our difference quotient gets closer and closer to 24 in this case. All right, let's see how do we do. Let me see my time. Cool beans, we got a decent amount of time. Okay. Okay, let's hop over to Pearson. Let's see how do we do. The difference quotient. Now we got a difference quotient of negative 6x minus 3. Negative 6x minus 3. H, enter, awesome sauce, and then continue. Okay, so when h was 2, we got negative 30. H was 1, we got negative 27. Then we got negative 24.3. And then we got a negative 24.03. Cross our fingers. Awesome sauce. God is good. But some of these questions, boy, when you go to type that in, if you get that wrong thing, it's so jarring. You're like, oh my God. It's like, whew. But when you get it, it's such a sigh of relief. Okay. I think the chat is okay. I haven't gotten my notification. So we don't have that much time. So I don't want to say the number because when you hear it, then it could be a little bit discouraging. Let me see. I think I need to do this one. This one is a little bit funky. A little bit. I know it would give students a hard time. I'm just going to do it so you'll have something worked out. Keep in mind, we're not going to be able to get through all of 1.3 and 1.4 in this session. Feel free whenever, like even next class, or you can email me. Even if you like say you're working and you want to see a question and we didn't go over it together. Like notice with this question, the view and example, I always recommend that one because it gives you the same question with different numbers. You just read through it and try to match it to yours. This one has a video associated to it, so I think that might be good, but I'm gonna leave that for you to discover. This has the ebook associated with it, so you can actually like pull up a digital version of the book and it'll take you right to that section and you can kind of skim through there. And if none of those work and you still can't get it, click on the Ask My Instructor and it'll pull up a menu and it'll send me a screenshot of your very question. And usually what I do is I take those questions, I load it to my tablet, and I make dedicated YouTube videos walking you through. Sometimes I do get overwhelmed, so just like, do the best you can. But you want to take notes here. I just wanted to kind of go through that menu with you guys. So this is question number 5. This comes from section 1.3, question 27. So yeah. So the reason I brought that up again was because whatever we don't, like if you're working something and you want me to work through it and we never talked about it, even if we did talk about it, this Ask My Instructor is how I would do that. Just click on that and it'll come to me and I usually make dedicated YouTube videos. So part A, I'm just going to put difference quotient. Okay. Find the difference quotient. And we're given this f of x equals, we got this 5 over x. Okay, we're going to walk through that as best we can. And then part B is complete the table. complete the table. Okay, I'm just taking some notes about to hop over. So this is not a repeat. So then X is, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 fours. H is going to be 2, 1, 0.1 and 0.01, okay? And then they want the difference quotient. F of X plus H minus F of X over H, okay? All right. Okay, so I took my notes. Let's hop over to the tablet and walk through this, okay? All right. So first, let's find the difference quotient. So again, the difference quotient is going to be f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Okay. So let's do the f of x plus h. Let's isolate that. Notice I'm doing the same thing and just kind of trying to adjust, catch the changes, adjust with the changes. So we're going to take the original function and replace the x with x plus h. So it's going to be 5 over x plus h. Let me be consistent with my colors. X plus h, all right? That doesn't really seem like there's anything we can do there. So then we're going to incorporate that into the difference quotient. So the difference quotient again is f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Okay, in this case, that's going to be under 5 minus 5 over x, all divided by h. Okay. So when we add and subtract fractions, from the past, you should know to get a common denominator. So this one, I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by this. This other one, I'm going to multiply the top. I'm going to multiply by 1 in the form of x plus h over x plus h. So in either case, I'm multiplying by 1 in a certain form so that they get the same denominator. Okay, let's keep going forward. So then we're going to get 5x. We're going to distribute. We're distributing a negative 5 here. A negative 5. Okay. So that's going to be minus 5x minus 5h. That's the top. And the bottom we're left with x times x plus h. Okay. Notice these guys cancel. And then the other thing is we're dividing by h, so I'm going to use keep, change, flip, right? If we're dividing by h, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, so that moves this h to the bottom right here. Okay. The terms on top still have an h, so we can actually factor out this h is going to cancel this h. Okay, and let's write what's left. We got x times x plus h under negative 5. Okay, that's as far as we can take that. Okay, then we're asked to complete the table, so let me get a copy of this table. Copy. So this difference quotient, I mean, it is what it is. I would say do the best you can with it because it can be a little bit intimidating. To me, like I've already I made the lectures for the shortcut. Once we start doing differentiation, the shortcut to me, you don't have to do all of this. Like this is just like a college algebra application. But once you get into the shortcut, you don't really do it this way. This is just for like background on where the shortcut is coming from. And that's coming up in the next couple of sections. Okay, so now if that's the difference quotient, let's go ahead and highlight the answer that we got. So we got this result. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. So when x is 4 and h is 2, so that's going to be a 6. That's 24. We get negative 5 by 24. Okay. X is 4, h is 1. What is that? 5 times 4 is 20. 5 divided by 20 is what? A quarter? Okay. 0.1. So 4. I don't know 4 times 4.1. I probably want to use my calculator at this point. Let me break out my calculator. So I'm assuming that attendance is what it's going to be for now. Let me open up my calculator. Okay, that looks good. Reload and refresh. Okay. I'm going to just show my calculator. Okay. Let me do, since the x is staying the same and h is changing, I'm going to make a formula. I'm going to go to my y equals. I'm going to say -5 divided by 4 times 4 plus this other variable. I know it says x, but you know, for this purpose, x is staying the same and h is changing, so I let h be the variable. I'm going to call that up. Okay. So now when h is 2, I think I can do math as a fraction. Okay, we're good there. When h is 1, so I'm going to recall and let h be 1. -1 by 4. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm just going to, and we're going to have to get these to be the same units. We want to be consistent. I'm going to let h be 0.1. Let's do -0. I'm going to do 3049. 3049. Right? That's an approximation. And then we're going to let h be 0.01, so 01. 3172. 3172. Okay, let's hop back over to Pearson. And this is where you have to like read the instructions and, you know, be meticulous about following what they say. Because you can have the right answer, but if you don't follow the instructions, it's not going to give you credit, and you're going to be mad, right? So if you're pretty confident that your answer is correct, just read the instructions and make sure that you're putting it in the proper form. Man, I'm like not able to talk. I feel like I'm like got a list. Okay, let's try this again. The difference quotient. All right, so we got, I think that's good there. Okay, so we got this guy here. -5 over, kind of want to show you my view bag. Like, anyway, I just moved into like an apartment. Like I'm on like the 4th floor, so I'm like raised up. I can see like Stone Mountain off in the distance. So it's like all these lights. And when it's dark in this room, because, you know, it's just interesting. Anyway, we got this x times x plus h. X times x plus h. Let me check the time. Oh, we're getting close. Okay, so good. That's reassuring that that's correct. It says round to 3 decimal places as needed. So that means they all need to be in decimal form. So that -5 over 24. Let me see. -5 over 24. So it says 3 decimal places. So that would be 208 right here. So that's going to be a -0.208. The next one, if that is 0.25, -0.25. Okay. 0.1 was -0.305. 305. And the final one is -0.317. 317. Okay. Cross our fingers. Oh. All right. Let's see what did we do wrong. Let's go back. 21.25. 25. That quarter. Is that 208? Okay, I feel like it's one of those guys. The 208 looks good. Let me redo when x was 1, because maybe I didn't write it proper. I mean when h is 1. Let me see. Delete. 0.25. Okay, let me try when x is 2, because is it approaching something? It is getting bigger, so it's going the right direction. Round to 3 decimal places as needed. Let me try the 0.1 again. Let me do the 2. I might have to get this wrong if I can't figure it out. 208 looks good. Okay, let's do 0.1. 0.1. 305. 305 looks good. And let's try the 0.01. 312. It might be our rounding. 3, oh, 312. I put 317. Okay, there it is. I was using the 7 to round, and I just didn't write. I keep doing this thing of saying the right thing and writing the wrong 3 thing. That one little number, man, that's irritating. Check, come on, buddy, come on with it. Look at God. All right, that one little thing, like I was like, no, that's not right. We definitely had it right, but we wrote the wrong answer. We said the right thing, but wrote the wrong thing. And it was just that one number. One thing is off, and they don't want to give you no credit. So that being said, the human aspect to these interactions is definitely needed, because if I was grading that like on a handwritten test, I would give that person full credit and not even think about it. Even though that last number was wrong, it's close enough. But technology and computers, it don't understand closeness. They don't get it. Like it's either right or it's wrong. So just do the best you can with those assignments. Like it can be a little intense. Okay, I kind of want to jump forward, but I'm going to leave it like, okay, I'm going to keep working again, because more than likely we're not going to be able to get to 1-4 today. So as you're going through the homework, if you want me to work anything, just let me know, okay? Find a simplified form of the difference quotient. I kind of want to skip this one for the sake of time. Let me see. Let me kind of go forward some. I think if all of these, see, that was definitely going to take a lot of work because of the cube. I kind of want to jump to 1-4. Let me take some time. I know we only have, if we get out at 7:15, I don't want to keep you for more than 15 minutes. Let me take a moment. I want to take some time to go through section 1.4. So I know we didn't finish 1-3. Let me go back to the assignments. Let me open up section 1.4 and let's spend some time there. Let me open up this. Oh no, I didn't need you to do that. And let's make you brighter. Ooh, that's really bright. All right, that's good. And then we need to hop here. Did it come up? No, that's not right. Safari properties. It is this one. Awesome sauce. That looks okay. And then what I want to do, I want that to be full screen. Okay, I think we're ready to rock and roll. So we'll take the next 10 to 15 minutes to walk through section 1.4. I know we didn't get anywhere near to the end of section 1.3, so just do your best, okay? All right. Find an equation of the line that contains the given pair of points. That comes from college algebra. That's a review question. You see it right here. So I'm just going to skip that one for now because we're kind of short on time. Slope-intercept form, that's college algebra. I want to skip that one too. Determining the limit as h goes to 0 of the difference quotient, find f prime of 4. Okay. Sure, let's do it. So this is more difference quotient. You can't get away from it. All right, let's do this one. So this comes from section 1. Oh, come on. This comes from section 1.4. Differentiation using limits. Oh, you're doing that thing. Okay. I got to reboot my notepad. I'm watching the clock. This one. Okay, let's try this again. This comes from section 1.4, differentiation using limits. Okay. And this is question number 3 from this section. And this comes from section 1.4, question number 3. Find f prime using the difference quotient. So that's going to be this limit as h tends to 0 of this f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. And then it asks us to find f prime of 4. And it says that f of x is 7x squared. Okay, let's hop over to the tablet so we can see my notes. All right. Keep in mind, all the stuff you see me writing, I do intend, once I get it set up, it'll be quick. Like I usually make it available before, right as we're leaving the session. I just haven't set it up yet. I just had to take some time to set it up. But we'll hang out for about another 10 minutes or so. Okay. All right. So basically, first thing we need to do is do the difference quotient again. The same thing we were just doing. We need to do it for this example, right? So first, let's do this f of x plus h. Let's isolate that guy. So that's going to be 7 times x plus h squared, right? So then that's going to be 7 times x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. But then that's going to be, if we distribute, 7x squared plus 14xh plus 7h squared, okay? So that's the first part expanded. So then let's do the difference quotient. So we have this f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. And that's going to be what we just found. Okay. F of x was 7x squared, so minus 7x squared. We're going to say all over h. But we want to simplify this difference quotient, okay? So these guys cancel off the rip, okay? Notice each term that was remaining still has an h left over that we can factor out. That's going to leave us with 14x plus 7h divided by h. Now, if we just try to take the limit as h goes to 0 from the rip, we're going to be dividing by 0, essentially. So we can't do that. So that's why we had to simplify the difference quotient first. Now those h's cancel. And so the simplified difference quotient gives us this guy, right? So next, they're asking us to find the limit as h goes to 0 of the thing we just found. Okay? So the limit definitions, so now because of the form we've put it in, the limit as h goes to 0, this term essentially goes to 0. So as h gets closer and closer to 0, we essentially just plug it in at this point. And that second term goes to 0, and so that leaves us with 14x. So our claim is that the derivative of that original function is going to be 14x, okay? So then, so we found f prime. Then they want us to find f prime of 4. So our claim is that f prime of x equals this guy. And then they ask us to find f prime of 4. That's going to be 14 times 4. 40 plus 16 is 56. Okay, let's see how do we do. So the next component of the difference quotient is the definition of is the derivative. I did my best to kind of explain what's going on. Like basically you have a curve and you have a point and then you have a second point on that curve. And that second point, if you consider like some small change in x, it generates the second point. As that small change gets smaller and smaller and smaller, that second point gets closer and closer and closer to the first point. So then you have like the secant lines, and then it gets closer and closer to an approximation for the slope of the tangent line at a point. I know that's a mouthful. Not that my video is articulated that much better, but you just have to do the best you can with it. Like, am I looking at a star or a plane? I can never tell. That's so bright. And see, that one's moving and this is not. Anyway, so let's see how do we do. Let's see how do we do. Let me hop over to Pearson and share it for people on YouTube. Okay, so it just wants the final answer. We got a final answer of 56. Now, there's a shortcut. You don't have to do all of this. And I think the shortcut, we kind of go through the shortcut in the next section. Let's hang tight for 10 more minutes. Let's do the best we can for the next 10 minutes, and we'll stop at 7:10. I know we get out at 7:15. Okay, we'll use the last 5 minutes just for like Q&A. Graph this function. Draw a tangent line to the graph at the point whose x-coordinate is 0. Find f prime by determining the limit quotient. Find f prime of 0. The slope should match that of the line you drew in part B. Okay. So let's start by graphing this guy, right? So the highest exponent is in 2, so it should be a parabola, a U-shaped curve. The y-intercept is 3. The leading coefficient is positive. So it should be a U-shaped curve that opens up, so it has to be either C or D. The y-intercept is 3, so it can be either one of those. So maybe find the vertex. The vertex is going to be, the x-coordinate of the vertex is going to be negative b over 2a. So 5 over 4, positive 5 over 4, so 1 and a quarter. So it looks like C is the proper one. Okay. I'm going to go with C for the graph. Okay. So that was an amalgamation of concepts from college algebra. Draw a tangent line on the graph at the point whose x-coordinate is 0. Tangent line. Okay, let's see how does the next part show. Do we need to? Oh, okay. So then if the proper graph is C, the only one that has that graph is A, right? So a tangent line is a line that intersects the graph at one point in this fashion. It doesn't cut the line or cross perpendicular. It gradually gets close and touches at a point and then keeps going. A secant line is going to be a line that crosses a curve at 2 or more points, at more than 1 point basically, right? So this line grazes the curve at 1 point in this fashion. That's what we mean by a tangent line, okay? So I'm going to go with A there because it's the only graph that's the same as the previous, okay? So then the next part, f prime. Find by determining the limit difference quotient. Okay, so I totally want to just use a shortcut. I'm trying to save the shortcut for the next section because it's coming. But you can honestly, all the difference quotient stuff that we write out, once you learn the shortcut, you can just look at it and write the answer. You don't even have to do all of that. But I'm just doing this just to show you that it's possible. And then with the next section, that's where we start to explore some of the Leibniz, the shortcuts, the limit properties and definitions. Okay. So let's take some notes here. I need to start writing. So this is question number 4. This comes from section 1413. This is going to be part C. We're asked to find f prime of x, and then that's a lowercase f, using the difference quotient. So the limit definition. The limit as h tends to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Okay, that's a limit. That's a difference quotient. That's the limit definition of the derivative. And then part D asks us to find f prime of 0. Okay. Slope should match that one of the line you drew in part B. Slope. Oh, okay, that's fine. And then, our function, right? So our f of x, let me see the time. Okay, this might be the last one. I might do one more after this. I got to see how long it takes me to get to this. F of x equals, we got this 2x squared minus 5x. More than likely this will be it. Minus 5x plus 3 because this kind of takes a little while. Let me show my notes. So let's hop over to the tablet. Okay. All right. So we're at the limit definition, okay? The limit definition of the difference quotient. Okay. So when we do difference quotient, let's first isolate this f of x plus h. Let's just do that, right? So we're going to have 2 times x squared minus 5 times x plus 3. What goes in there for x? X plus h. X plus h. Okay, we got to expand all this out. Let's do it like this. 2 times, it's going to be x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus 5x minus 5h plus 3. And then we're going to distribute here. Okay. This is going to give us 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared minus 5x minus 5h plus 3. Okay. Wait a minute. Yeah, we're okay. Let's keep going. Does anything cancel? Nothing cancels there. Okay, so that's just the expansion of f of x plus h. So now let's apply this to the difference quotient. So again, difference quotient is going to be f of x plus, that's not a plus, f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. We're going to say minus that thing we just found, or I mean equals the thing we just found, 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared minus 5x minus 5h plus 3. We're going to say minus f of x. So f of x is essentially going to be minus 2x squared minus 5x, nope, plus 5x minus 3. I had to distribute a negative. So I said minus f of x, right? Let me shrink this down to get it onto one line. Once we finish this, this will be it for the day. I know it's a little intense. Just do your best. Take a deep breath, and I'm telling you, you can do it. It's not as bad as it looks. It just looks bad because I'm doing it. This stuff, you kind of have to do it yourself, and you'll see it, and you can get through it. Okay, so now let's do our cancellations. This cancels this. You just got to take your time. 5x, this cancels this, and this cancels this, right? Notice all the remaining terms have an h that we can factor out. Let me highlight those h's. So we got an h here, we got one there, we got one, we got one here. Let's try this again. One here, one here, one here. Okay. We have h's that we can cancel. So the remaining terms all have h. We can factor, let's factor out an h from those terms. And that leaves us with 4x plus 2h minus 5, okay, all over h. Now those guys cancel, and the simplified difference quotient that we get is 4x plus 2h minus 5, okay? All right, so we found the simplified difference quotient. Now we need to take the limit as h goes to 0. So now we need to say the limit as h goes to 0 of 4x plus 2h minus 5. Essentially, this term in the center goes to 0. And that leaves us with 4x minus 5, okay? So our claim is that f prime of x equals 4x minus 5. I see the time. We're almost done. This is looking good. Let me see. Okay, we found, and then the x is to find f prime of 0. F prime of 0 is going to be 4 times 0 minus 5. Ultimately, it's just going to be minus 5. So the slope of that line that we had should be minus 5 from that graph. Okay, hopefully you were able to keep up with that. If you're still hanging in, you are a trooper. All right, you're a trooper. All right, let's hop over to Pearson. Let's see, how do we do? Here's the moment of truth. Okay. So part C, f prime of x, we got 4x minus 5. Now I'm not saying that this is, let me see, 4x minus 5. Let's cross our fingers. God is good. F prime of 0, we got a slope of negative 5. The slope of the tangent line that we drew, we said is negative 5. Okay. And that takes us to right at the time that I would like to stop. Okay. The floor is open if anybody has any questions. You just have to feel free to, I think, the chat, there is something in the chat. There is a group me, so you definitely want to take advantage of it. Do what you got to do. I totally understand. If there aren't any questions, let me hop over here, do like this, paper. Let me see if there's anything else that I need to say before I let you guys go. Let me see. I can't think of any other announcements other than, you just do the best you can with these assignments. Everything is in Blackboard. Just write down your questions. Either email me. If I don't respond to the email, just ask me next time in class. If there aren't any other burning questions, you guys are awesome. Enjoy the rest of your day, and peace. Take care.